guys, today we're going to be talking about the Footlocker interview process and the steps leading up to the application. So you're going to want to apply online at sneakerjobs.com and complete an online questionnaire which is fairly lengthy. Now depending on your responses, your application might not make it to the Footlocker hiring system at your desired work location. So I'm going to give you guys some tips so you answer the important questions strategically. The questionnaire gives you a scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree. So keep this in mind when completing the questionnaire. The following are 3 questions that it's important you agree with. The first is coworkers describe me as dependable. This includes showing up for shifts on time. The next is I believe that I have strong leadership qualities. This is also important for hiring managers to show that you're able to take initiative. The third is I adapt quickly to changing work situations. So this includes problem solving and thinking on your feet, which is imperative for retail positions. 3 questions that it's important you disagree with includes I find working in teams to be unproductive. It's a skill the employer is looking for. The next statement is I find it difficult to convince coworkers to agree with me. For this, you're in sales and you need to be able to persuade customers to purchase items. The last one is I tend to keep my ideas to myself in group discussion. It's imperative that you're able to speak up, take initiative, and get your point across. So once you've completed those 6 statements, answer the rest of the statements with your best judgment. Now that you finish your application, you're going to want to go to the Footlocker location and hand in a hard copy resume. The purpose of this is to introduce yourself to the manager and get your foot in the door. You could start off the conversation by saying you really like the atmosphere at this location, what's the hiring process at this Footlocker? The manager can say one of 2 things, we're not hiring right now, or come back in a week for an interview. Now keep in mind some locations require you to come back 2 to 3 times to prove that you're persistent. Now for the interview. Footlocker interviews are typically a 1-to-1 or small group interviews consisting of 3 to 4 people. I'm going to be discussing the most common interview questions for Footlocker specifically. The first is why do you love shoes? Now majority of people would answer this question with the statement I'm a sneakerhead, but this isn't exactly the answer that hiring managers are looking for. They want something more in depth. For example, I use it for self-expression, or it's a positive outlet. The next is where did you get your style from? In other words, who is your inspiration? So take time to think about this question. Next is why do you want to work at Footlocker? Don't just say for the discount. In your response, include that you have a sound product knowledge, you value the customer leaving the store satisfied, and you're able to easily strike up a conversation. Next question, tell me about yourself. Some key points, which includes that you're well-spoken, you're assertive, you're bubbly, and this is a good time to say that you are a sneakerhead, but not in those words, that you're a shoe enthusiast, which shows that you're more professional. The next question is, what is your fave sneaker and why? This may seem like a simple question. This is your opportunity to sell a product to the hiring manager. Make sure you include the history of the shoe while answering this question. Next question, how do you stay up to date with new releases? This is a great opportunity to mention the Footlocker app that you have the push notifications turned on for. This shows that you're already part of the Footlocker community. This is also an opportunity to discuss a shoe that is about to release that you're excited for to prove that you are up to date with new releases. Other people will mention that they follow a certain page on Instagram about sneakers or they subscribe to a certain YouTube page. These aren't exactly the answers that will set you apart from the rest of the interviewees. Next question is what do you know about Footlocker? So you want to mention 2 to 3 facts. For example, headquarters is in New York. They have over 3,000 stores and they're an American sportswear and footwear retailer. Last question is what is good customer service to you? Now this is a common question that Footlocker hiring managers ask. A simplified answer is you want the customer to leave satisfied and want to come back to your store because of the experience. General tips is to dress appropriately to the interview, wear clean sneakers with no scuff marks. Tip 2, don't monopolize the conversation talking about how you're a sneakerhead. The employer wants to know what sets you apart. The next tip is don't go into the store with your friends or family. I see this all the time and it looks really unprofessional. The last tip is ask a question at the end of your interview. For example, is this a part-time or full-time position? How does commissions work? Or why did you first choose to work at Footlocker? So hopefully this video gave you a good insight on what to expect for your Footlocker interview and the application process. Check out my channel for other interview videos on popular stores that you might also be applying for.